Hi everyone. The topic is basic steps that should follow in titrations. Today I'm going to go with this little topic. How do we go with these basic steps that we are following in titrations? Before we moving on to that, we should know what are these instruments we are using. So those instruments are, we have actually three different instruments. If you go with, we have here pipette, burette and titration flask. We have three different instruments that we are using here, pipette, burette and the titration flask. Then still burette is the one that usually we are adding the non-solution. Non-solution but not always, but sometimes it is depending on the condition. So we are using this burette to fill with the non-solution and the titration flask is to fill with unknown solution. Titration flask is to fill with unknown solution. So since this is an unknown solution, we're going to find the concentration of this solution. We need the volume and number of moles. For that, we're going to use the exact volume. To get the exact volume, we are using this pipette. So this is called the pipette and this is the burette and this is the titration flask. So the pipette is calibrating to one single volume. Let's say if it is 25, this is exactly 25.00 cubic centimeter volume is calibrating. But if you are going the burette is usually calibrating with different volumes. Usually let's say that's 100 cubic centimeter burette. So in 100 cubic centimeter burette, it is calibrating starting from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. Okay, so what we are doing is initially, okay, so now let's say we need to fill these solutions, clean these clean these instruments and then fill solutions with this. What are the processes we are using? Let's say we are cleaning the titration flask. When we are cleaning the titration flask, so this is the titration flask. To clean the titration flask, we are using only the distilled water. Only the distilled water. Let's say if we happen to clean this with the solution to be filled, so if we discard the solution, a little droplets are staying inside. So it simply means, let's say that we are adding again another 25 cubic centimeter exactly, then what happened? This 25 plus, this excess amount makes the number of moles increasing. So that we don't do that. We clean the titration flask only with the distilled water. And then the pipette and burette. These two we can initially wash with the distilled water. So the step number 1 is we are washing with the distilled water and then solution to be filled. Number 2 is solution to be filled. Let's say we're going to fill HCl here and let's say the sodium hydroxide here. Then what do? Initially, both these pipette and burette, we are filling with this, we are washing with this distilled water. That is the first step. And the second step, we're going to wash both these. This is by HCl and this is by sodium hydroxide. If we only wash these with distilled water, let's say, we have distilled water droplets inside. Distilled water droplets inside. If we are having distilled water droplets inside, when we are filling with the solutions supposed to be filled, then those solutions become diluted because these are already having water inside. So that when you are cleaning these instruments, what are the steps you guys are following? Titration flask, you are washing only with distilled water. Pipette and burette, there are two steps. The first step 1 is we are washing with distilled water, and the second step is to wash with whatever the solution to be filled. And then let's say that we're going to fill here 25.00 cubic centimeter of HCl and here To this one, I'm adding, let's say, sodium hydroxide. Depending on the volume, we can add whatever we want. Here, exactly 25.55. So once you fill that, how do we introduce it to the titration flask? Keeping these pipette straight and keeping the titration flask aligned. So that, and also the other step is you have to touch the tip of the burette on the inner wall of the titration flask. Inner wall of the titration flask. Then you are introducing everything. Usually we say to keep 10 seconds and then leave the pipette out. Then you have exactly 25.00 cubic centimeter of solution here. Then you are keeping it here. Then you are adding any indicator to this one. Then you are titrating with sodium hydroxide. At the end point, you are getting the burette reading. So these are the very simple, very easy initial steps of titrations. These are the very simple, very easy initial steps of titrations.